Welcome to Black Nouveau. This is our edition for November 30th, 2016. I'm Joanne Williams. Tomorrow is World AIDS Day. We'll look at Milwaukee's African-American transgender community, one of the most at-risk populations for the disease. Milwaukee Urban League President and CEO Ralph Homan is retiring. He joins us to talk about his 14 years as head of that organization. You know, kids should be encouraged to read as early as possible. Jacqueline Woodson probably believes that too. She's an award-winning author of books for children and young adults. Our Liddy Collins spoke with her recently.
There's nothing that is going to be destroyed if we tell our story. The thing that teachers did was see me. You know, I think so often the external gaze is that of a broken community or a broken people or someone who can't be helped or, you know, school to prison pipeline. You know, we see all these ways in which, again, coming back to that single story. And I think my teacher saw me as Jacqueline Woodson. And it's so important for every child to be completely seen and not to be seen as some kind of struggle.
I love writing. I love telling stories. I love writing.
Jacqueline Woodson wanted to be a writer, and her first novel, Last Summer with Mason, started her on that career path.
I didn't know I'd be this famous to some people. You know, I didn't know I'd win the NAACP Image Award. I didn't know I'd win 4 Newberries. I didn't know I'd win a whole bunch of National Book Awards. I had no idea that this was who I was going to be, but I knew I was going to tell stories.
Loving books, learning to physically write her name, and wanting to do what authors did in books, tell stories, started Woodson's quest to become a writer at the age of 7 years old. Now, 31 books later, her stories are delighting audiences, young and old.
And I write because I write realistic fiction and I want people to see mirrors of themselves in the world. And historically, especially for people of color, we haven't seen ourselves represented on the page, and I wanted to change that narrative. And so this is why I write the stuff I write. I write about human existence, so that includes everything. I write about socioeconomic stuff, I write about racial stuff, I write about gender stuff, I write about sexuality, I write about friendship, I write about family, I write about mass incarceration, I write about teenage pregnancy. There's nothing I haven't touched.
She's known as a children's author, but says she writes everything. For example, her latest book, Another Brooklyn, is targeted at the adult audience.
I had articles and short stories targeted at adults. I've written a number of books that are targeted at middle grade and young adults. I'm Young People's Poet Laureate, so that's for the young people. I won the National Book Award in Young People's Literature. This year I'm a finalist for the National Book Award in Fiction, which is adult literature, so I'm all over the place.
Traveling around the country, what do young people say about your books?
They love them, they hate them. It depends. Young people are so diverse, right? So, and they love different stuff. Some people love graphic novels, some people love fantasy, some people love adventure, some people love realistic fiction. The ones who love me adore me, and the ones whose teachers have forced my books in their hands and it's not really what they want, they don't like me so much. So it really depends.
She said young people are reading and loving it, and it's a myth that young people are not reading.
I think for us as adults, we're deciding that what they're reading might not be valid, but they read. In terms of getting them to read novels and getting them to read poetry and getting them to read stuff that maybe seems important to us, it has to be relevant to them. And read with them, read to them, let them read picture books. I was a really slow reader. I still am a really slow reader. Let that be validated. Show them books with mirrors, with people who look like them, with people who have the same family makeup, with people who have, you know, the same whatever it is they do, so that they could see themselves in the literature and feel like they're part of a bigger narrative.
To get our children reading, you have to be reading and reading the stuff you know they are going to like.
You have to go in that room and say, look, I just read this great book, Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, and here's why you should read it, ABC. People need to know the literature that's out there for our children so that they could get it into our children's hands. With my own children, I find a good book. I know if I say, Mommy loves this book, read it, they're not going to read it. I know if I leave it in their bathroom, they'll pick it up. But I vet the books, and I think a lot of times if grown-ups aren't reading children's literature, they're not going to be able to approach the kids with books and know what they are reading and know what they need to hear.
Adults need to familiarize themselves with children's books and know where to find them, such as We Need the First Book, an organization started so publishers would publish more books for people of color. And then there's the 1,000 Black Girls books.
There is a body of literature that's bananas out there for young people, for Latino kids, for kids with queer parents, for kids who are transgender, for kids who are undeserved, for wealthy Black kids. I mean, like, everything is getting represented in the narratives of today's publishing world.
Milwaukee's Urban League opened in 1919, 97 years ago. It was a nonpartisan, nonprofit, community-based organization that played a major role in the freedom movement. Since 2002, our guest Ralph Holman has been its president and CEO, and now he's moving on. Welcome.
Well, thank you so very, very much, and thank you for having me today.
So why did you decide to retire?
Well, retirement is such a personal thing. Some people retire earlier, some people retire later. And it's just a matter of you coming to the realization that it's your time. And, I felt that it was my time to retire and look at the next chapter of my life.
Do you think it's time to hand it over to somebody else? Do you think you've done all you can at the Urban League?
Well, I don't think I've done all I can. To be very honest, I am very pleased with some of the accomplishments and some of the progress that we have made. And I really think that we have laid a very firm foundation for the next person to come in and build on that foundation and take the Urban League to the next level of community service excellence.
What can you point to as your favorite achievement? Maybe not your greatest, but the one you really liked.
Wow. Let me start this way. I'm just so very, very happy and pleased with the thousands of young people that we've helped to get in college and get scholarships or financial aid. Many of those young people are first-generation young people. I'm extremely proud about that. I'm also very pleased with the fact that we've helped hundreds of individuals prepare for and find good family supporting jobs. And the third thing I'm pleased about is helping entrepreneurs either start their businesses, manage their businesses, or grow their businesses. That's extremely important because that helps to generate wealth in our community. Small businesses create jobs, and they help to stabilize neighborhoods where they're located. And that's on the human side. But on the non-human side, I'm extremely happy about purchasing our new building at 435 West North Avenue, which is in the heart of Bronzeville, the African American Cultural and Entertainment District.
You have a lot to be proud of. Any regrets?
Well, one of my frustrations, to be quite honest about it, is the challenges in our community are very complex and they're not easy to solve. And one of my frustrations is that we've not made more progress with some of the difficult challenges that confront our community. We still have too much poverty. We still have too much unemployment. We have a lot of our young folks incarcerated. And so those are some of the things that I'm frustrated about. I think we made some progress, but not nearly enough.
How do you think Milwaukee has changed in your tenure since 2002? What's changed in the city, and how has the Urban League tried to address those changes?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think certainly we have made a significant amount of progress in some areas, and I describe it this way. I say some people are doing well, if not very well, in this community. They say that we're one of the most segregated cities, communities in the nation. Well, my wife and I personally know a number of African Americans who live in the suburbs now. When I was growing up, that was unheard of. So that's real progress. But by the same token, we have a number of people who are mired in poverty, hopelessness, and despair. And so it's almost like a tale of two cities. So what we have to do going forward is make sure that everyone in this community has a good quality of life.
And to get that quality of life, they need a job. How's the employment picture in 2016?
Well, let me put it this way. It's difficult for those people who are not prepared for the jobs that exist today. People debate as to whether we have enough jobs for the number of people who are unemployed. And I think that, in some respects that's true. But in other respects, we do have a number of jobs, but unfortunately, many of the people who need to work, who want to work, are not prepared, for those jobs. So it's a mixed situation. So going forward, we have to work on this problem on two fronts. We have to try and increase the number of jobs that we have, absolutely. But we have to make sure that we help people prepare for the jobs that exist today.
Are employers still listening to the Urban League? There was a time when everybody who wanted to create jobs would come to the Urban League and say, help me. Are they coming to you now and saying, help me, or are they trying to do it on their own?
No, absolutely. We still, and I think I'd like to say that we're very fortunate and blessed because we still have a very good relationship with a number of employers in this community. And employers come to the Urban League, seeking our help and seeking our assistance. So we're very pleased about that. And that's something that we can build on, going forward.
What do you tell them when they come to you and they say, well, we want to hire some people, but we don't really know how to do it?
Well, what we say to them is we don't like to have open-ended job fairs, if you will. We like to sit down with the HR people or whoever is going to be doing the hiring and get a good, thorough understanding of what they're looking for, what their minimum requirements are. And then we go and, recruit and pre-screen people that meet those requirements. So when an employer sits down with us or comes to us for employment assistance, we don't send them hundreds of people. We may send them just a few people, but the few people that we send them are definitely going to be in the ballpark of what this employer is looking for.
Now you're going to be telling folks more about the Urban League at an upcoming luncheon. When is it, where is it, and why is it?
Well, we have our 57th annual Equal Opportunity Day Luncheon.
57?
57th. Coming up on December the 7th. It's going to be at the Pfister Hotel. And it's an opportunity for everyone in our community to celebrate and embrace diversity. And in addition, this year, we're going to be giving some special community service awards to some people who were instrumental in helping the Urban League early on during my tenure.
Okay. If people want more information, what's the phone number?
If people want more information, they can call the Urban League at area code 414-374-5850.
And in 30 seconds, what's next for you?
Well, let me just say I'm not looking for another job. And as I've told people, I'm definitely going to be retiring from the Urban League, but I'm not going to be retiring from community service. So as long as we have issues and challenges in our community, I'm going to be doing something to try to help make our community a better place.
Well, when you find your new direction, let us know and we'll come back and talk to you again. Thank you, Ralph.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on all this time at the Milwaukee Urban League. You've done a great job.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to serve this great community of ours.
December 1st is World AIDS Day. It's a day dedicated to raising awareness of the HIV pandemic. Here in the United States, almost half of the people with HIV are African American. Transgender women are the fastest growing population with HIV in our nation. Everett Marshburn reports on a minority population that's often overlooked.
I'm on the move. I don't want to lose. What I came to prove is everything I expect myself to be. And I'm going to do everything I set out to, making my dreams come true. It means so much to me.
A transgender person is an individual whose gender identity differs from the sex he or she was assigned at birth.
Your gender identity is how you see yourself on the inside. On the inside, I see myself as a woman and align myself with female qualities. My biological identity is the pieces that I'm born with. So biologically, I'm female. I identify as female. My gender expression is how I present myself to the world on the outside. So today, I'm in a female expression. I've got red nail polish, I've got lipstick. I'm expressing to the world as a female. So my identity as female, my biological parts as female, my expression to the world as female, I'm all in alignment.
Lori Hartz works at the Greater Milwaukee Center for Health and Wellness. It's a primary care clinic that specializes in helping the underserved in our society.
With transgender people, their identity doesn't always align with their biological parts. So they may feel like a woman, they may express to the world female qualities, but their genetic biological parts are male.
We have services that include HIV specialties, hepatitis C specialties, women's health specialties, as well as transgender health. So we do a lot to make sure that the community is served in ways that they probably haven't been served in the past.
Mostly we're gender affirming. So when a patient comes to us, when a transgender person comes to our door, from the minute they walk into the door till the minute they leave, our staff is trained in transgender care.
Transgender women are one of the most highly affected groups in the HIV epidemic, and that's especially true for African American transgenders.
African American transgender women have been disproportionately affected by the HIV virus.
Do you know why?
There are many different reasons. A lot of social ills, stigma in the community around being transgender, not having the support of family members and community.
Ronnie is the lead coordinator for SHEBA, Sisters Helping Each Other Battle AIDS. The group is sponsored by Diverse and Resilient. They present programs and activities to promote health and accurate information about transgender issues, like this quiz at Pride Fest last summer.
I don't know if you all are aware that the one of the girls was shot on last Thursday. So I went out to pray to visit her on yesterday, and she's doing well. She's in lots of pain, but she was shot in the stomach.
And they meet bi-weekly to provide support and fellowship to each other. Some agreed to share their stories with us.
I knew I was different. But I didn't have the language for it, and I didn't have resources and examples of the life that I'm starting to lead now.
Elle knew at an early age that she had feelings for men, feelings that came with a price.
I experienced a lot of bullying, a lot of harassment, some physical, a lot of verbal, from, mostly outside people who don't really know me. Most people that know me and or that are in my family and stuff like people that are close to me are mostly supportive and have been. I came out as a gay male when I was going into my freshman year of high school, leaving 8th grade. This is when I started to have my own individual feelings for other men, for other boys. I just knew that it was part of who I was and that attempting to live a straight lifestyle wasn't for me. But I started transitioning about 1.5 years ago, going on 2 years ago.
People can express themselves or express their transgenderness in different ways. They can feel all the things I talked about but not share that with the world, or they can dress but not take hormones to biologically change, or they can go as far as surgically correcting or surgically aligning their outside parts with their inside parts.
Elle takes hormones but doesn't know if she wants to make a complete transition.
I'm just personally more comfortable the way that I am. This is the most comfortable I've been in my entire life. And I'm more so satisfied to just remain taking hormones right now. I can't, I definitely might feel a different way in the future.
Tyra has been in SHEBA for a decade and is one of the oldest members in the group.
It's very relaxing and very comforting, and it's a place where I could go and know that I'm being loved and they really do care since childhood, different relatives will always tell my parents that I always looked like a little girl. And that didn't catch on. It wasn't until I went to junior high school at Robert Fulton I got raped. North Division, I got raped. This young man raped me in in junior high. He raped me in the boys' restroom. And at North Division, I got raped in the, when I say raped, I like beat down. He's fractured my jaw and in the shower room. After all the kids had left, this guy jumped on me. Not because I was gay or looked gay. He wanted me to have sex with him, and I refused to have sex with him. I think those incidents happened at Robert Fulton and North Division really did put something on me, my mind about my lifestyle.
Tyra has a lesbian cousin whose lover would dress Tyra in women's clothes.
I never felt like I was gay. It was just when my cousins dressed me and put the clothes on me, I just felt comfortable. And we went out, and of course I felt comfortable. I came to terms with my gender then. I kept sneaking back over there, like, you know, they were renting in the neighborhood. And she was my first cousin, so, you know, I was always welcome over there, day or night. And it was at a time where I think my mother started missing her clothes. My grandmother told me when she realized that this is the way I wanted to be. Whatever way I wanted to go, whatever direction, always go and walk in the light and the faith of the Lord Jesus Christ. And because I've always put the Lord before my lifestyle and before anything else, I've always been around people that cared about me, that wanted to help me out.
Money has been in Sheba for about 10 years.
As a child, I wasn't really like having sex or anything like that. I was doing gay stuff. Like, you know, I was always with the girls. That's what I was doing. But nothing did start. And then also, so far when I went to college and just started doing it, I was like, oh, okay. But then also after that, I think after that, after I went to college and I went to school, I had a girlfriend. And that's where I lost my virginity to a girl. And so at the end of that, that's when I realized, like, that's not what I want to do. I've been transitioning ever since I was like 22, 21. I mean, I don't know, somewhere around in that area since like 2002. But as transition or as being loved, I had not a problem. But as a public eye or anything like that, it was very, very, very trying and hard and terrible for me. I have got shot with this rod in my leg right here is a rod. I have got shot. I have 150 staples in my leg. I got my head busted with a gun. And I had no right to be walking down the street at 10 o'clock at night with the code, bam, point blank. So he was like, trying to say something. He was I was going to buy some marijuana from him. And so he was like, come right here. When I got right there, that's when he pulled the gun out, like, give me the, and I was like, boy. And I like pushed him out the way. And when I pushed him to turn around, that's when he shot me.
Unfortunately, violence against transgenders is not uncommon. The National Center for Transgender Equality reports that 1 in 4 trans people has been the victim of a violent assault, and the numbers are higher for trans women and trans people of color.
Some things that happen to me is because of who I am. Like, I honestly think that I know it.
Duchess has been a member of Sheba for over 5 years.
People just make assumptions that we're all freaks and that we're out to attack another man, that we just sexual beings to men. We're not. We're just regular people trying to get through every day like everybody else. When I was 10, I just liked men. I didn't want to be a woman. I didn't want to dress up. I just wanted to be with the men. When I got older, like 16 is when I decided to like, okay, let's transition.
At the age of 16, her mother asked her to leave.
We had gotten into an argument Thanksgiving, and she was like, we got into a huge argument. And she was like, get out. And she put me out. Thanksgiving, she was there, her mother was there, and I went to my aunt's house. And that's where I was from 16 to like 21. And that's sad, like, cause it hurt to get put out by someone who you think if no one else has your back, it's your mother. And to be like, oh, you gay, get out my house. It still touches a nerve when I talk about it to this day, because it's like, it's my mom's. Like, it's mom's dukes. You never want to hear your family like down you and not be accepting.
According to the National Center for Transgender Equality, 1 in 5 transgender individuals has experienced homelessness. Family rejection and discrimination have contributed to a large number of transgender and LGBTQ youth being homeless in the United States. That's an estimated 25 to 40% of more than 1.6 million youth. Duchess and her mother have reconciled, but there are scars.
Now that I'm older, I'm 28, so now that I look back, I can see where she's coming from. But at the same time, being 16, I had no clue. I just thought it was me. I thought it was something I did, like, so now that I'm older, I can look back and like, would I want that around my child? So I can kind of get it, but still, like, it's your mother.
Trans people are not freaks, they're not anomalies, they are who they are. They are the most courageous human beings on the planet. For them to live a true life and say, inside I feel like this, outside I'm born like this, I want it all to come together and live an authentic life. They have to go through it is such a hard and rocky road.
You can never understand.
And that's our program for this week. For Black Nouveau, I'm Joanne Williams. Thanks for watching.